In 2019, the New York Times produced an article about the incompetence of the British ruling class, and they were talking specifically about the ruling class that had gone to the top British private schools, Eton, Harrow, Winchester, Marlborough, and they were talking again specifically about the way Brexit had been levered by the enthusiasm of the British ruling class, the Rees-Moggs, the Boris Johnsons, and so on. You could have added Farage, because he's also part of that class. Dulwich is one of the top British schools, with the most magnificent art gallery, with amazing paintings which come mostly from a Polish collection of old masters that somehow ended up in Britain, and one of the first real art galleries to be established in Britain. And Johnson, for example, was contemptuous of anybody who questioned his decision. Pure millennium bug stuff. And it's that lack of listening that defines this group of people. I don't think they're defined by their school. The Economist would talk about the Oxford chums, bluff rather than expertise. Britain is governed, said the Economist, by a self-involved clique that rewards group membership about competence and self-confidence above expertise. The chumocracy has finally met its Waterloo in Brexit. Absolutely, but I don't think that chumocracy is something that is defined by a private school education, or indeed even being at Oxford. That's the coincidence. Within the private school system, within the Oxford system, there is another group. And it's that other group. It's not the top universities, not the top schools, which are the problem. It's that little group within those. And some of those people come from outside. Dominic Cummings comes from outside, though the Venn diagram does include Oxford for him. Accessing that little group often means you have to access it through Oxford, through one of these schools, through the clubs in London. You're going to, are you going to have to tear down all those institutions to get at that little club? I think not. I think what you have to do is to identify the club and ridicule it out of sight. Because the little club is like a subsect of Masonry. Masonry should be ridiculed out of sight. People who go around the place rolling up their trouser leg and giving other people strange hand jobs is just so childish. I can't begin to describe the number of times I've had people shake my hand in a peculiar fashion and then say, "Oh, are you on the square?" And I say, "No, I was in the circle." And they say, "I thought you gave me the hand." No. I was just shaking your hand gingerly because you seemed so arthritic. I was replying with a gesture that mirrored yours. And so often this conversation then led to suggestions that I should join the Masons. I never have. I never will. And though I find the idea, I find the concept of secret societies very interesting. I find it interesting because I want to expose them. I want to write about them. I want to talk about them because I think they the only way that we can understand the malign influence of Brexiteers, the malign influence of Masons, the malign influence of the little groups that governed India, is to expose these little groups, to call them out, to pull them out of the dusty corners where they're hiding, and to say, this is the reality. How did Mountbatten ever end up with so much power? Because he was part of a boys' club. And this sort of thing, it's not the schools, it's not the universities, it's not even, I would dare to say, the dining societies or the clubs around London which are the problem. It's that subsect that can be found like a little canker running through all of these institutions. And it's, I think it's made worse by the haughty grandeur, by the haughty contempt that these people have got for anyone who is not part of their subsect. Their failure to listen, their clubbable dependence on each other. We see it in Rishi Sunak, of course. And Rishi Sunak has gathered around him a kitchen cabinet of old friends, chums. And he doesn't listen to anyone else. And so he makes stupid mistakes like the D-Day fiasco. Because he thinks he's getting good advice. He's not. He's getting thumbs up from his chums. Or a finger from Andrea Jenkins. But it amounts to the same sort of thing. Thumbs or fingers. It's all inappropriate. Democracy is about listening to others and getting as wide a range of comment as possible, and listening particularly to people you don't agree with. And this is why I rather like the comment section of the YouTube, because people leave comments that often I raucously disapprove of. They leave comments which are rude, which are insensitive, which are badly phrased. But within all of them, there's so much truth. If we ignore the people who disagree with us, we ignore the opportunities to investigate, to question our own decisions. These comments hold a mirror up to us, as Hamlet would say. So important to look in that mirror. So important to hear what other people have got to say. Even if you disagree with it. Even if you think you know you're right, you need to hear other people tell you that you're wrong.